Hi guys, U264 here, and today we're going to be talking about Toy Story 4. So, where does Toy Story 4 stack up compared to Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 3? Well, we're going to talk about that. Hope you guys are ready for the truth.
Oh, geek.
True. 64.
Geek. Truth. Geek.
True. 64. Oh, shit.
All right, so Toy Story 4. The way I'm going to do this review, because I do want to talk about a couple points that will be spoilers. I'm going to put them at the end of this video. I will give you a spoiler warning, and I will give you a time mark so you can skip past it if you don't want any spoilers. So I will be talking about the ending and a couple other points because I need to talk about them, and I need to be able to say what I need to say because instead of dancing around it. So, but this is the spoiler-free section of the review. So, one thing I want to talk about is the animation. The animation in Toy Story 4 is once again amazing. Every single Toy Story movie, the animation, well, Pixar in general, the animation's just, it's crazy now. Like, there's parts in this movie that are super photorealistic. The rain scene, you can see it in the trailer. A lot of other people have mentioned how amazing it looks. It does. It looks amazing. Just, man, yeah, visually, it is a great movie. But the main 2 points I want to talk about here are two things: characters and story. I have reiterated that those are the two most important things in any film: characters and story. And the characters and story are in the title of it. The toys are the characters, and the story is the story. Toy Story. So, those are the two main things I'm going to talk about here. First, we'll talk about the new characters, okay? The new characters here are actually pretty solid, cool, funny additions for the most part. Duke Kaboom, who is voiced by Keanu Reeves, I laughed at several things. I love Duke Kaboom. He basically plays an Evel Knievel type toy. Great new character. The creepy dummy. Yeah, the thing looked like Slappy from Goosebumps. It was terrifying. The way that he moved. Ventriloquist dummies in general are terrifying anyway. It really gave like a horror aspect to the movie that I wish there was more of. But the creepy dummies were awesome. Forky. Forky is, well, originally I saw this character in the trailer and I thought I'd hate it. I thought I'd hate this new character. I didn't understand how he was a toy. I thought it was just a dumb approach. And I was surprised. Like, he was really, really funny. The funniest character in the movie by far is Forky. And as I said, I thought I'd hate him. But I walked out of the movie being like, Forky was a cool character. So Forky was awesome. I love that Bo-Peep is back. Not a new character, but kind of a new character because she just acts completely different than the character we saw in 1 and 2. And I like the changes that they made to her. And just, yeah, she was good. Gabby is kind of the antagonist. She was fine. Pretty serviceable. Her story basically went exactly how I thought it would go. Not really too shocking. The downside is that I love Key and Peele. I love Key and Peele. I think that their comedy sketch show is one of the funniest things ever. However, Key and Peele's characters in this, they just felt out of place to me. And they feel very forced into the story. They had a couple funny lines, nothing too hilarious. I kind of found them annoying at some points. Really just felt useless and tacked onto the story. And that's really sad because they get not a lot of screen time, but more than the characters that we actually went to the movie to go see, and you don't buy into them. So it's kind of frustrating, which is really the main issue here. Okay. Our main characters really get sidelined in this story. And I personally think Buzz is really, really wasted here. He is like, he's given like this kind of amusing joke that's funny at first, and they just stretch it out through the whole movie, and it's just such a waste of a interesting character. In Toy Story 3, when he got put in a Spanish mode, that was kind of amusing, but it lasted a big chunk of the movie, and you just want to get back to Buzz being Buzz. And this is, it's not really like that, but it's kind of like one of those jokes that just, it stretches a long time, and you just don't get enough of Buzz in this movie. That's what I'm going to say. And it's really frustrating because to me, Buzz and Woody are the two main characters in Toy Story. They are marketed as such. Everybody knows Woody and Buzz, and you don't get a lot of Woody and Buzz in this movie. You get a lot of Woody, and you get some of Buzz. But them together, there's not a whole lot of, and it's really kind of sad. So the main character here is really Woody. Okay, how is Woody in this movie? Well, to me, he makes some really dumb decisions. Really dumb, hasty decisions that to me don't fit into his character. They don't fit into the character that we saw through 1 through 3. And 1, he's kind of an egotistical leader, and then he grows in 2, and then 3, and the way he acts in this movie, it's just, to me, he made decisions just to force the plot along. Okay, he's been shown to be the leader. He's been shown to be the smartest toy in the room. And they just make him not be that to force the plot in a certain direction that they want it to go. And I didn't buy into it, really. It was kind of frustrating to see not only Buzz kind of get wasted, but to Woody kind of act out of character just because the plot is forcing him down a direction that I just didn't buy it. And as I said, the other characters get sidelined. They're hardly in this movie. Most likely you went and saw Toy Story 4, not because you wanted to see what happened after Toy Story 3, because they've already put out little shorts of what happened after Toy Story 3, which are actually pretty cool. You probably went because you wanted to see your characters again on the big screen, and you don't really get a whole lot of it, and that's kind of sad, honestly. So how about the story part of Toy Story? Well, it's delivered well enough, but it really just retreads a lot of the points and messages and themes of the previous 3 movies, and all 3 of those movies did it better, quite honestly. The main question this movie tries to ask and answer is, what is the purpose of a toy? And that's already been answered before. It's been brought up through all 3 movies. So really, it just feels like it's a rehash of stuff that they've already done. It feels very unnecessary, which is exactly what I feared this movie was going to be. When I heard Toy Story 4 was coming out, I was like, why? Why? Toy Story 3 was probably, arguably, the best Pixar movie. Wrapped up the trilogy. Toy Story Trilogy is among like the best film trilogies out there of all time. We're talking on par with like Star Wars. We're talking on par like Back to the Future, Indiana Jones. We don't count Crystal Skull. Solid trilogy, consistent quality, building narrative, building characters. So we don't need a Toy Story 4. We didn't need a Toy Story 4. When they announced it, I was like, oh no, why? It's just a cash grab. And that's my initial thoughts. And I think to a certain extent, yeah, after saying it, I feel like it was kind of a cash grab. I feel like they just kind of banked on the fact that people wanted to go see it because people love Toy Story. I don't think narratively this movie had enough to say to warrant its big screen release and being titled Toy Story 4. I don't. What I think about this story is that what this story feels like is a direct-to-video type of story. We're talking like Mulan 2 or Lion King 2 or, that kind of thing. The quality of the movie itself is definitely box office, big budget. It looks great. The voice acting's amazing. The score is awesome. As I said, animation, awesome. Everything looks of box office quality. But from a story perspective, I just don't feel like there was enough here to warrant it being called Toy Story 4. I feel like this is a decent story. This is a decent movie. It could even be a good movie. But when you're comparing it to the quality of Toy Story movies, it just falls short. It just does. If you're going to go revisit your characters, and that's the reason you're going to go see the movie, I feel like you're going to be disappointed to a certain extent because most of your characters are getting sidelined. They aren't in the movie a lot. And the characters, Woody and Buzz, they're kind of wasted, or they're forced to do things that I just don't think that they would do. And so I'm really just I'm disappointed in the movie from that perspective. Because I want it to be better than what it was. That by no means means that this movie is terrible, because it's not. I think it's a good movie. I think that it's definitely not a Monsters University or a Finding Dory, because both of those I felt like were really, really subpar sequels. As I said, there was, I think, there's two Toy Story shorts that I know for sure came out. One was like a Halloween-esque episode where they're in a hotel. I liked that one. I liked, there was one with dinosaurs. I feel like this movie was just like a stretched out short. Like it feels like a tacked on epilogue to Toy Story 3. And it's not what I wanted. With that being said, we're going to talk about some spoilers. We're going to talk about some spoilers. All right, I'm going to put the time marker here and spoiler warning here. This hit the tag marker if you want to skip past the spoilers and get to my conclusion and my rating for Toy Story 4. All right, let's go. All right, the first thing I want to say is that in Toy Story 3, the first one of Andy's toys that Bonnie connects with is Woody. And at the end of that movie, Andy points out that Woody is very important. And it's alluded to that Woody would kind of be, Bonnie's, favorite toy. Or at least that she'd treat him with some respect. But because the plot demands it, he is left in the closet and made to feel like crap. And I just didn't buy that. I thought that was dumb. And that made me, right at the beginning of the movie, made me think, oh man, this is the way that's going to go. This is the direction it's going to take. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that direction because I didn't believe it based on what you saw at the end of Toy Story 3. Or even in the little shorts where Woody is an important toy to Bonnie. So that was pretty frustrating. The ending. The ending, a lot of people were talking about how sad it was. And yeah, I totally understand that. And if you connected with what happened in this movie and you thought the ending was sad, that's good. That's what the filmmakers wanted you to emotionally connect with. To me, I didn't emotionally connect with it. Toy Story 3, I emotionally connected with that one. This one, I didn't. This felt like very forced, like they were forcing emotion onto you for the sake of the plot moving forward. And when Woody decided to leave his toys, I just didn't believe it. I was like, no way. After all this stuff he's gone through, there's just no way. I didn't like it. I didn't like the ending. I feel like Toy Story 3 is the proper ending. I think it wrapped up nicely, and I think Toy Story 4 is just like an epilogue to that movie that nobody really wanted. Now, I will say that outside of those 2 points, the opening, I didn't want to talk about this in the main part because it's kind of a spoiler. Not really. It basically shows how bo-peep gets taken. I love that scene. I loved that scene. Not only visually was it amazing with the rain, we got to see RC again, and how bo-peep was given away. I thought that was great. I would have rather see Toy Story 4 be a Toy Story 2.5 or something. Show some more of Andy, maybe some more adventures with that. I didn't like the direction that Toy Story 4 took. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. All right, spoilers are done. Time for the recap, and then I'll give you my score. So, to recap, the new characters are awesome. I was upset that the majority of the old characters got sidelined. That Woody and Buzz, to me, felt kind of wasted, or at least Buzz felt wasted. Woody felt like not the person or not the character that we've known.
And as I said, it's a very funny movie, so that is always a plus.
The story's okay. I didn't really buy certain aspects of it. Visually, it's amazing looking. It feels like a straight-to-video type of story, and it feels like a cash grab. It really does. I feel like there was some real love put into it by the filmmakers, but I just don't think that they had enough to really say with this movie in comparison to what they've already covered with Toy Story 1 through 3. So, in the end, I'd probably go ahead and give Toy Story 4 7. We'll give it 7 light beers out of 10. Again, I think it's worth seeing. It's not a terrible movie. I think it would have been better as a shorter story. Actually, to be honest, I feel like it should have been not called Toy Story 4. It should have been called another Toy Story or something like that, and just have it be about bo-peep. You don't have to have Woody, Buzz, and everybody else in it. And that could have been its own thing, and I think that would have been fine. I think it would have been a sufficient story, and you wouldn't have to compare it to the other 3 movies. I think that there was enough there to stand on its own. You could probably add a little bit more. Anyway, have you seen Toy Story 4? What did you think about it? Those are kind of my thoughts. I hope I didn't dissuade anybody from seeing it, because again, I think it's worth a watch. It's not a bad movie. It's just not as good as the other 3. That's pretty much what it comes down to. If you like this video, you like this review, please comment, like, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'm hoping to do a Pixar ranking here pretty soon. Yeah, like it if you want, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm D264, and I'll always tell you the truth.